Good morning and welcome to the NEWEA 2021 Annual Conference. I am Lauren Hertel, Chair of the Program Committee. This year's conference certainly looks different from years past, but it did not stop NEWEA from delivering a premier water quality conference that its attendees, sponsors, exhibitors, and speakers come to expect each year. The 2021 Annual Conference spans over 2 weeks and features 16 technical sessions, 3 discussion forums, 4 keynote speakers, 2 innovation pavilions, a student poster session, and a virtual exhibit hall. The conference is concluded with the passing of the gavel of our current NEWEA president, Jennifer Kelly Lachmayr, to our president-elect, Virgil Lloyd of Fuss and O'Neill. Conference attendees can earn TCHs by attending any of the technical sessions offered. NEWEA appreciates the committee members and volunteers and invites you to connect with the current committee chairs on ways you can get involved. Contact and committee information is available on the NEWEA website. This year's conference theme, Advocate, Act, Be the Change, is highlighted throughout the program between our discussion forums and keynote speakers. The message is championed by our NEWEA president, Jennifer Kelly Lachmayr, who I am pleased to introduce as our next speaker this morning. Her year of NEWEA presidency was unprecedented. She embraced and pivoted with each challenge she faced and brought continued success to NEWEA. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Jennifer, who will be setting the stage for the conference's first keynote speaker. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2021 and the Association's 91st Annual Conference. As President and on behalf of the New England Water Environment Association, I would like to welcome and thank you for attending our annual conference. Before I begin this morning, I would like to acknowledge the NEWEA Senior Management Team, past President Ray Vermette, President-elect Virgil Lloyd, Vice President Fred McNeil, and Treasurer Mac Richardson. Also, NEWEA Executive Director Mary Berry and staff Janice, Jordan, and Heather, as well as our annual conference planning team, Lauren Hertel, Amy Anderson-George, Corey Myers, Ron Tiberia, and Meg Tabasco for putting together this virtual event. I would like to thank our committee officers and members like you for your ongoing time and talents to NEWEA's activities, programs, and initiatives. Finally, I thank our exhibitors and sponsors. We sincerely appreciate your commitment and truly couldn't do all that we do without your ongoing support. I hope that you all enjoy the conference. We have worked hard to make it special, even in this virtual event format. This year, my platform was Advocate, Act, Be the Change. Why? Because to evolve and move forward in our industry, we need to embrace new partners and elevate the importance of our work. I asked each of you to get involved in one of 3 ways. Help to build our network within and outside of the water industry, expand our partnership and outreach activities, work to strengthen our relationships with state and federal elected officials. Anything you can do helps. Mostly, I wanted you to pick an area to expand the conversation about the importance of our work and the need for support and funding and new partnerships in a manner that worked from your own personal strengths. New England businesses, industries, and individuals often lack an understanding of the work the water industry performs and the essential need for funding infrastructure. NEWEA has an opportunity to increase awareness of the vital role water professionals and water infrastructure plays in communities and in our lives. As we work to build our networks, our partnership and our outreach activities are pivotal to our success. Little did I know when I was envisioning change that we would be thrust into a pandemic and the change was upon us. I am so excited about the changes you all are shaping as we move forward. So many of these efforts are highlighted in the technical program for this annual conference and are the culmination of hard work by all our volunteer members with assistance from staff. Here are some highlights. First, I want to highlight the efforts of past President Janine Burke Wells for her contributions leading the Contaminants of Emerging Concerns and Biosolids Residuals PFAS public outreach campaign. She led numerous programs and discussions, which can be found on the NEWEA website. The work of the Innovation Council under the leadership of Council Director Dr. Marianne Langridge, with assistance from so many, including Miles Walker. The Council continued the important work of collaborating with new innovators to showcase their latest technology and continued creating connections to pilot and achieve full-scale operations. You can connect with the latest at the Innovation Pavilions on Wednesday, January 27th and Wednesday, February 4th from 12 to 2:30. The work of the newly formed Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Ad Hoc Committee under the leadership of Marina Fernandez, Isabel Cobble, and Dr. Jennifer Lawrence. The committee's vision is to ensure a welcoming climate for all members, where everyone feels empowered, valued, respected, and safe. Recruiting and retaining a diverse membership is a key priority. Through their efforts, there are several exciting activities in this year's conference, including Thursday, January 28th at 2:15 p.m., the Forum on Analyzing Racial Inequalities in the Water and Wastewater Industry. I also want to thank WEF President-elect Jamie Eichenberger for participating in our annual conference this year. Jamie met with our executive committee last week, and he touched on the takeaways from WEF for operating in a pandemic world. We specifically queried Jamie for what is the feedback WEF got from people on the most impactful experiences during these virtual conferences. And he said it is the roundtable discussions and the panel forums. So you may want to use the select button in the FeedLoop app here to select the panel discussions and roundtables in your calendar so you don't miss these events. Another forum you might want to bookmark will be today at 2:15 on commemorating the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment. It should come as no surprise that two of the organizers for the forum are Michaela Bagash and Angela Moulton, both colleagues of Kate Biedron's, mentoring a new generation. That is a positive segue to pause for a moment here and reflect on the loss of our friend, mentor, leader, and engineer, Kate Biedron. It was so wonderful when we all came together and lined the streets in solidarity for Kate during her pandemic funeral procession. As you know, we created the Kate Biedron Task Force, which in turn created the Kate Biedron Memorial Fund. The goal of the fund is support initiatives near and dear to Kate, including STEM education, mentorship, and advocacy for diversity and inclusion in the water wastewater field. We encourage everyone to consider donating to the fund. You can do this at the NEWEA website. I will say I love the creativity of the levels the fund set and how you can just hear Kate in the fund level categories. The fund is just getting started and they have a goal of reaching $100,000. Vikki Spruill, our keynote speaker for today, is the president and CEO of the New England Aquarium, a wonderful partner to the ocean, Boston Harbor, and an inclusive communicator for change on how we interact with our waterfront. Vikki serves as a catalyst and spokesperson for evolving our understanding of the vitality of the ocean and its ecosystems through outreach and education. Through Vikki's leadership, a new conversation and vision for the Blueway in downtown Boston is being explored. Vikki sees the world connected through water, and I am thrilled for you to hear more on her thought leadership in this morning's keynote address. And now, please join me in extending NEWEA's warmest welcome to the President and the CEO of the New England Aquarium and its Research and Conservation Institute, the Anderson Cabot Center for Ocean Life at the New England Aquarium. Vikki Spruill.
Hello, everyone. I am so delighted to be here talking about a topic and a passion we share and concentrating on things we can actually affect, especially during a year when so little has felt in our control. We at the New England Aquarium have a different focus on water than the New England Water Environment Association, but we both know that it's all connected. Though the calendar has turned to a new year, we continue to deal with so many of 2020's largest challenges, whether that's public health, economic opportunity, racial justice, and this month, of course, we added to this list the fundamental issues of ensuring our democracy. During such a tumultuous time, I find myself again and again going back to the ocean. I've long found comfort in the ocean and purpose through my work as an ocean advocate. When I see the ocean on a map of the world, I don't see any boundaries, I only see connections. Through this pandemic, many people have recognized that just as the virus knows no boundaries, solutions require the commitment of our world community. That very ethos has been at the heart of our effort at the New England Aquarium to understand the human impacts on our ocean and their inhabitants and find ways to make the ocean healthier. In my career, communications has been my North Star. Though passionate about conservation, I am not a scientist, and that actually has been an advantage. By bringing a communications point of view to the table, I can consider science through the prism of consumer interest, of public policy, funding goals and needs, and much more. There's little that's more important to me than giving voice to the power of the ocean, particularly in a time of climate change. The ocean is the lifeblood of our planet. It covers more than 70% of the Earth's surface and provides more than 50% of the oxygen in our atmosphere, every other breath we take. About 97% of the Earth's water can be found in the ocean. It shapes our weather, and its currents regulate global climate. The ocean is particularly vulnerable right now because of climate change and how we as humans are using it. For decades, our ocean has been serving as a buffer for climate change, absorbing much of that excess carbon we're producing, and it's warming as a result. But the ocean has its limits too. It can be painful to see how quickly the ocean is changing. For example, the Gulf of Maine is heating up faster than 99% of the world's largest bodies of salt water. It recorded its hottest single day this summer, a full degree warmer than its previous record high just 8 years ago. This is enormously consequential. We're seeing severe loss of biodiversity and threats to both marine ecosystems and the humans who rely on them. So this is a critical time to give voice to the importance of the ocean as a source of biodiversity, as a hedge against climate change, and just as a critical part of our blue planet. The New England Aquarium works to be a voice as a conservation organization that works to ensure a vital and vibrant ocean for generations to come. Though the New England Aquarium may be known to you all as a beloved tourist destination, and we love that, we draw more than 1.4 million visitors a year, at least in non-pandemic times. This ocean conservation work is very much at the heart of who we are. We're working to safeguard endangered and threatened species and their habitats. We're working to inspire people to take action to protect the blue planet, and we're working to affect state and federal policies that do the same. We do this in the aquarium itself, as well as in our Anderson Cabot Center for Ocean Life, that's our research arm, and our Animal Care Center and Sea Turtle Hospital in Quincy, that's our rescue and sustainability arm. In the Anderson Cabot Center, we conduct research that helps identify solutions to ocean threats, both in our own backyard, but well beyond as well. As we pursue solutions, we innovate new technologies, we educate individuals, and we advocate to create change, mostly through policy change. We've been doing this work for decades, leading and helping drive and scale conservation-centric solutions to the various threats facing our oceans. And over the years, we've continued to engage in research and to form partnerships around some of the biggest challenges facing our ocean. The rigor and the longevity of our work has solidified our stature as experts on a range of topics from fisheries ecology and bycatch, and on animals including sharks, sea turtles, and our critically endangered and iconic North Atlantic right whale. We know more than anyone that the challenges facing the ocean are too big and way too complex for any of us to handle alone. We also know that the most effective way to solve complex problems is to work in partnership with those who are actually embedded in the problems. So sometimes our partnerships are with scientists who monitor marine mammal populations and ecosystems. Sometimes our partnerships are with fishermen who've watched their tried and true fishing grounds dry up. And sometimes it's industry struggling with the unintended consequences of their work. And of course, sometimes it's with fellow NGO partners. There have been some big wins over the years, like working with the shipping industry to slow down ship speeds and to move shipping lanes to avoid the paths of North Atlantic right whales in the Bay of Fundy in 2002. Or providing the scientific justification to create the Northeast Canyons and Seamounts National Marine Monument in 2016. Through our Marine Conservation Action Fund, we're supporting emerging ocean leaders in developing countries around the world. We provide funding in the form of micro grants for urgent, time-sensitive projects, and we're supporting early stage entrepreneurial projects. We also identify some of the recipients of those micro grants, and we engage them more deeply with the aquarium through a fellows program. In addition to conducting applied research and traditional conservation activities, we also support the development of innovation solutions that take our conservation work even a step further. Last year, we partnered with the blue tech startup platform called See Ahead to launch the Blue Swell Incubator Program, and I'm really excited about this one. The incubator supports early founders with new ocean-related technologies and business concepts in areas like aquaculture, offshore renewable energy, and other enabling technologies, the type that has the potential to really change existing industries and create new ones. And in October, we announced our first cohort of 6 startups. We're also in partnership with Greentown Labs. They're the largest climate tech startup incubator in North America, and with Vineyard Wind, the developer of the first utility scale offshore wind energy generation facility in the United States. We're guiding 3 startups, all winners of the Offshore Wind Challenge, to better understand and minimize potential impacts on marine mammals and to support the responsible development of the offshore wind industry off the coast of Massachusetts and beyond. We're also taking advantage of our ability to educate and inspire the 1 million+ guests who walk through our doors to visit our penguins, to visit the turtle, the animals in our giant ocean tank, and all of our other exhibits. We're trying to do that in 2 ways. By encouraging first our visitors to become educated advocates for the ocean, and then also considering how our own perch on Central Wharf can become a demonstration project for climate resilience. Outside of the global COVID-19 pandemic, climate change is one of the greatest challenges facing humanity. We see this on a daily basis as everything we're studying is being impacted by climate change. We use our platform to increase understanding about not only the challenges associated with climate change, but also to talk about solutions. The aquarium is just one voice advocating for a healthy ocean, and we need as many as we can get. Visitors have told us that they're looking to us for guidance on concrete actions they can take to keep the ocean healthy and to protect marine wildlife. In the past couple of years, we started doing direct advocacy campaigns with our visitors, asking them to write postcards to their elected officials in Washington in support of strong science-based fisheries laws, for example, or the need to protect 30% of our planet, land, and water by 2030. The aquarium aims to be a place that educates and inspires individuals of all ages, both on site and also virtually. Once we can return visitors to the aquarium, we fully anticipate a robust process of further engaging our visitors as advocates for ocean conservation. We're also empowering youth to not just join the conversation, but to actually lead the conversation. The rising generation has demonstrated their capacity and their capability to demand action on an issue that profoundly impacts their future. And the aquarium is proud to share our platform with them. Our teens, who we call our New England Aquarium Climate Teens, are one of the reasons I have so much hope for the future. Beyond our walls, we pioneered a program that helps people feel more comfortable talking about climate change with others, and it's called the National Network for Ocean and Climate Change Interpretation, or NOCI. For the last decade, we've been training educators and scientists and museum professionals and others in how to use evidence-based communication strategies so they can help spread hope about climate action around the country. We're also working to help people understand the threat climate change will bring in the coming years to our own coastal communities and to lead by example. Global sea level rise is predicted to rise up to 3 feet in the next 50 years, and with it, we'll see more frequent storm surges and flooding. Even in Boston, we're experiencing 100-year storms much more frequently than every 100 years. Just a couple of years ago, the aquarium itself was flooded, along with many other businesses along Boston's downtown waterfront. And without dramatic action, impacts are only going to get more severe. As an aquarium that's located on a wharf on Boston Harbor, we need to prepare our property along with the entire downtown waterfront for climate resilience, while continuing to make the aquarium and the downtown waterfront welcoming, inclusive, and accessible spaces for all visitors and members of our community. Before the pandemic, our focus was on creating momentum for the Blue Way on Central Wharf. That was our vision for a new aquarium building and experience. The aquarium's master plan calls for a public promenade that will feature broad sight lines of the harbor from the Rose Kennedy Greenway to the water's edge at the far end of Central Wharf. The Blue Way offers a cohesive design that expands the public's access to Boston's waterfront. It further brings the aquarium's mission out into the public realm through transformative outdoor exhibits and serves as a model for strategic planning on the harbor. This is a long-term project. It's a bold vision for the future that we hope to use as a regional, national, and even international model for creative waterfront planning in the age of climate change. This Blue Way is still a long-term goal for us, but now the conversation is even bigger than us. The citywide conversation we're now helping to lead and shape is about the larger downtown waterfront and realizing a climate resilient, accessible, and inclusive destination that's welcoming and enjoyable for all. Not is Boston's waterfront an iconic part of our history, it's the product of millions of dollars of taxpayer investment in a cleaner Boston harbor. We've been advocating for a comprehensive, district-wide solution for climate resilience that allows Bostonians and visitors to engage with the waterfront in meaningful ways. The time is now to set a benchmark for a world-class public realm along the waterfront that's resilient, that's accessible, and that's an inclusive public space. So this now might be a good time to talk a little bit about how the pandemic has impacted us at the New England Aquarium. In the past year, we've been temporarily closed to the public twice. First from March 13th through July 15th, and then again currently since December 16th. We don't know when we'll be allowed to reopen, but when we do, we anticipate that we'll still be at limited capacity. That makes for a wonderful aquarium experience, and when we're open, I hope you'll come and see us, but it is not a sustainable business model. Like many zoos and aquariums, we rely on ticket sales and on other earned income, such as events, for the majority of our revenue. In our case, that's about 80%. We've had to make painful reductions, and we've had to let go of valued staff members over this past year. But we've also learned that our work can go on, just in different ways. For example, during these temporary closures, we still have about 35 staff members on Central Wharf every single day, caring for our 20,000 animals and the infrastructure that supports them. In many ways, it's been business as usual for us this whole time, just a whole lot quieter. Our research and rescue work has also continued through the pandemic. Some of our summer field work was affected. We didn't go to Canada for our right whale research in the Gulf of St. Lawrence, for example, but much of our research does continue, just with some additional adjustments. When we were first closed to the public, we quickly pivoted to using social media to continue educating and inspiring people with the wonders of the ocean, since we couldn't do that in person. So every day at 11 a.m., we broadcasted virtual visits. Aquarists and scientists, formerly used to sort of advancing their work quietly behind the scenes, suddenly became the stars of our Facebook page. And we heard from countless families and teachers and librarians. I even heard from my doctor about how they were relying on our virtual visits to supplement at-home learning. We've become more innovative and agile. We're doing less with more, and we're taking those lessons forward into 2021. I've heard that 1 in 3 cultural institutions won't make it to the other side of this pandemic. Our board, our leadership team, and our staff are determined that we will not be one of those institutions. We're determined to make it to the other side of this pandemic because our ocean needs us. I really believe in Baba Dioum's adage that in the end, we'll only conserve what we love, we'll only love what we understand, and we'll only understand what we're taught. The aquarium and NEWEA share in the work of teaching, of inspiring, and conserving our most precious resources. I want to thank you for all that you do and for the honor of being with you here today. Thank you.